Our next talk is from a very, very strong Palestinian woman. She's a political and erotic activist, passionate about social justice. And above all, she is a peace worker. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Aida Shibli, Time to be Radical.
Here? Okay. Assalamu alaikum. They told me I can be on stage or down. I thought with my size, better that I'm stage, otherwise I'm lost. So I choose to be here on stage. And I say hello to all of you, and I also want to make myself transparent of the state that I am coming from. So it was a few months ago that the management of Boom Festival asked me to give a talk about time to become radical in times of political situation and women's situation. And I prepared a beautiful presentation about the history of the goddess in the Middle East, and presentation about my radical decisions as a young woman in the Arab world. How is it to be a Bedouin? How is it to be a Muslim and to be in this radical movement? And I find myself in the last week, again and again, hesitating to come here and to be in a festival. And I already shared it with people that I cannot just come here and stand in a beautiful place like this and face people and speak the same presentation that I wanted to do when we are in times of war. So I decided that I cancel my presentation, and my friends and my colleagues said, no, actually you have to take this time and to take the chance and speak up your voice and speak it actually in front of people like you. Thank you. So here I am, and this is my decision, and right now I'm happy to be with you, happy to see that you are using your time and the privilege of being in a safe and protected place to enjoy life and to celebrate life, because life was meant and still meant to be a love affair, a taste of paradise, a taste where we encounter each other with love, with trust, with mutual support. So thank you for taking a decision to celebrate life, and thank you that you celebrate it for those who cannot celebrate it in this moment. And so I want to dedicate this talk now, this hour, to face 2,000 people who lost their lives in the last 2 weeks in Gaza, 61 in Israel, and to see that their souls and their spirits is around us here in this moment. Sorry, yeah. I knew that I would not be able to hold a speech, that's why I wanted to cancel. So, excuse me. It's really not easy when you handle such a situation and then to switch to this space, so sorry. So, knowing that other women and other great people have been here and will continue be here to speak about the goddesses and the role of women and all the great things that you are getting here, and maybe I just use the stage and use this time to speak a little bit of me and a little bit of where I'm coming from and where are we heading for. So, as I was mentioned, I come from a Bedouin background. As a Muslim Palestinian, I grew up inside of Israel. And already from early age, I noticed that life for me as a female, as a woman, is not like the same thing as my brothers. And I faced already the discrimination between me and my brothers in small and big things. And my resistance and my fight already started from a very young age. In the Arab society, the Muslim society where I come from, the occupation that we handle, the political situation that we are in, is not only one layer of occupation. It's not only the political occupation, but it is, we say that Palestinian women, we are in a triple occupation. There is from one side the political situation that is oppressing us and putting us down, and then there is another layer where is the Israeli society, where we as Palestinians are second-class citizens. But then we come to the third layer of occupation, where I want to mention it and put it very clear that without addressing it, there's no way to solution. It's our own society, the Palestinian society, and the men in our society, where this situation of being a woman is not immediately being recognized and being seen. There's a professor, Fatima al-Marnisi from Morocco. She says, when you are born in times and places where your skin is a political issue, you have to become radical. And what does she mean of being, your skin is a political issue? In my society, in my country, in my village, in my tribe, I cannot dress like this. I cannot show my shoulders. I cannot that my skirt is a little bit like this. This is already a reason to kill me. And so when the skin is a political issue, you have to become radical. And my question is, how is it to become radical? What does it mean to become radical? And most of my life as a young person, I thought to become radical is to resist. To resist means to fight. And then I noticed that I was so much fighting patriarchy, I was so much fighting men in front of me that I could not allow myself to fall in love. I could never surrender to love. I married twice, and I have an honor of being divorced twice, which is something so unusual and unaccepted in our society. But I noticed that time and again I'm falling in the same place, that I could not allow myself to fall in love, to surrender to a man whom I am in love with, because I always mixed it between him and patriarchy. So I started fighting the things that I am longing for, the man that I'm in love with. To become radical is to distinguish between love and the person who is in front of us and the system, that we are both victims of it. To come to a radical place of understanding that both men and women are victims of this system that we built in a wrong way is a radical thinking. So we don't waste our time on fighting the person who in front of us, but giving a hand of solidarity, of inviting the man to change the situation that we are both in it. I come from a society, as I said before, that we are living under occupation, and we are mixing the fight against the occupier, in this case Israel. Meanwhile, we are keeping the same patterns that Israel is using against us, which is suppressing the Palestinians. We use it in our society to suppress elements inside of us, which is the main element, the woman. And in the first Intifada, I remember when we were as political activists, as women, as a feminist movement, asking our leaders and our companions for the women's rights. They would say, excuse me, it's not time now. We have the occupation to fight against. We have no time now for women's rights and women issues. Yeah? We don't have time for it. There is the occupation, there is this and that. And this was the moment in the feminist political movement of Palestinians to distinguish and to see that we cannot fight, we cannot resist the outside without looking into the patterns that we have inside of us. The occupation is taking lives of Palestinians and of Israelis, as it was now 2,000 people. But in the same time, one cannot just shut up and say that every year, only in Palestine, there is 75 women who are killed on what is called the honor of the family. The honor of the family means if my brother, who is by accident, must be here. Yeah. If my brother would see me flirting with a man who is not my husband, he has the duty and the honor and the right to kill me. This is what is called the honor of the family. And each year there is 75 women who are killed inside Palestine for these issues of jealousy, issues of ownership, issues of possession to women, and seeing a woman as a thing and not as a spirit. And we as Palestinians have to address this issue and not only accuse the occupation for our inner patterns. For me, addressing inner patterns inside of our society is a radical political work. When we look into what's going now in Gaza, and I say Gaza because my heart is there and I'm connected with the Palestinian issue, but I don't want to put the whole political work of us as women into this place. Gaza and the conflict now in Israel-Palestine is is another representative of the global conflicts that we are all living in. So this system of patriarchy, this system of capitalism that is killing all of us and taking the spirit from all of us, sometimes has an expression in Israel-Palestine, sometimes have it in Africa, in other places of the world. So my intention whenever I speak about Israel-Palestine is to take it as a local conflict that represents global issues. So to look at it, but to change it, to look at the parallelity between it and all what's going on in the globe. So when I look into what's going on in Gaza and I ask myself, what is it we people, all of you here, and especially women, what is our task into it? And for me, it is this place where one has to come in such difficult situation and in such such radical times, such horrible times, one has to hope. When I say one, I also say to myself, I have to open my heart more and more and fill into it compassion. Compassion to my people, compassion to the people in Israel, and compassion to the world. So I use this term of global compassion as our tool to change, to transform the world. This global compassion that comes from an awakened heart that is touched by love, by beauty, by nature, by music, by encountering each other. When I look into the globe and they say, what is common between all these conflicts, then we can see that destroying communities, local communities, forbidding sexuality, oppressing women, was the main common thing that was all over the world. First starting by destroying communities and creating us as separate units, as consuming private entities. This was the first place of cutting us from our roots. All these systems that cut communities, all these systems that ruin our society, forbid sexuality. This was the first thing, whether it is capitalism, or whatever system, whether it is a religion, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Judaism, the first thing is to forbid sexuality. destroying communities, forbidding sexuality, and oppressing women was the common thread between all these systems, and these systems that are still ruining our life now. So for me to come from this global compassion to what's happening with women and with us as humanity is to know that community knowledge, how to go back to tribes. I see it here, that how people slowly, when they come from different places and suddenly in one space that brings something in common, tribes and groups and communities start to arise, because this is our deepest longing. And I come from a Bedouin background, as tribe, as community, also cut by the occupation, also cut by capitalism, but still the longing for community still inherited in us and inside each one of you. So to trigger back this longing to be part of a tribe, part of a community, that one is supporting the other, to regain building communities, to regain women power and free sexuality, or sexuality that is free from fear and from forbidden, is three elements that has to become a core and a thread in every women movement, in every place that we want to create another society. To see that in this way of destroying communities and forbidding sexuality and oppressing women, both men and women are lost in a history, in a misguided history. We are both in ruins of history that it was misguided, misleaded. And now it's our time to take our power back and change it. And I see this exactly in the political issues. There is a way that men and women start now to fight each other in every love relationship, or to look into the system that is making these problems between the genders and create a different system. And in my case as a Palestinian, there is a choice. I can also fight the system of Israel, and my people fight the Israeli people, but to step back and see both people, both nations, both groups are suffering from the same illness, the same sickness that we are suffering from it in our personal relationships. We are both victims to the same system that is separating between us and creating the fight that we fight between each other. And this system comes from this place of ownership. The whole system of capitalism, the whole culture that we are living in, is built on being these private units that are very good for the system, because we are good consumers. We are very good used by the system. And in this level of capitalism, we own things. This is my man. This is my car. This is my land. This is my holy land. And from this place of ownership, I want to own something for me. I don't see it anymore part of nature, part of planet Earth, part of the whole. You are mine. Then I possess you. I need you to fulfill my needs. The Holy Land is mine. For 2,000 years, I'm longing for it. It's mine. I cannot see any way that you live with me here. And from this place of ownership and wanting to possess things, we also kill people. We also smash another lover, another man, another woman who want to share this love. And when we look into this parallelity between the personal and the political, what does it mean to become radical? For me, to become radical is to look into my patterns of love and knowing that if I don't learn to share a man that I love, I cannot share the love of a land and the homeland that I love. It's the same parallelity. If I cannot see that the man that I love can be loved by another woman, then I cannot see my land, Palestine, being loved and wished by another nation, by another religion. For us women coming from this long history of being or forced to become small, coming from a history that we all know how women were burned. And still, in the case of my culture, we are still. I lost friends of mine who dared to love in a different way. I lost a woman who was in my same high school. She had 3 children, already 16, 17, and 12. And her husband got crazy because she divorced from him. And in one day he took a gun, he killed her, 3 children, her boss, and her neighbor. And it's in a village next to our village, a woman that I know. So when I speak about women who are losing their lives, I see their faces. I know them, I know their stories. When we all, as women, come from this place, from this long history of being burned and still being killed. And then there is this belief inside of us, we cannot change things. We cannot, we are small. There is a huge culture that is convincing us, also on the political level, to be small, that we are not able to change the governments, we are not able to change the society, we are not able to stop the occupation, we are not able, we as women, we are not able to change the situation. There is a whole culture of convincing us that it is not. And when I gave birth and I saw how much power I had to give, to go through all this pain and bring a child. And when I see this physical power and this immense spiritual forces of life that came through me, how can I not believe in my ability and our ability to change this society? How I'm not able to believe in my power and your power to stop the occupation? How can I not believe in my power and your power to save women from being raped, killed? In my radical thinking, if it's radical, I don't know if it's radical, actually, it is the most natural thing. I mean, look at me, look at you, we are all beings that are made as a shape of the divine. We have curves and beauty that is calling for contact. We are erotic beings, like we love to be touched. I think all of us here, we love to be touched. We love to indulge in life, to be seen as beautiful, as, yeah, this is our nature. It's not radical to say, I am an erotical being. I am a woman. I'm happy. I'm proud to be a woman. I still carry a lot of responsibility of being a woman. I'm a woman and I enjoy it. I love erotic life. I love sexuality. Why is it so radical to say something like this? I mean, look at all of us. We are so beautiful beings, and we did. No? You're saying no? I think we are all beautiful. And I totally believe that only an erotical culture can be a peace culture. Only when we bring back eros, love, contact, sexuality to its sacred place, to its sacred center in our society, only by this we can achieve peace culture. I mean, I come from a political situation where the whole 24/7 we speak about peace. But do we know what does it mean? Does any one of us come from a culture where he can say, I live in peace? Also you. When I look at you, mostly you come from European or Western culture, what to say it? And you think that you live in peace. I don't want to argue this, because if each one of us would look back to his society, then we know that we are far away from peace. We are far away from this place of being safe, from being connected, from being loved. We are far away from places that the contacts and the eros, the sexuality that you are longing for, can be accessible in an easy way. We all live in cultures of lies, cultures of deceiving, and the whole issue of eros and sexuality, even if we can like be short and yeah, look to the outside that we are free and we can do whatever we can, or whatever we want. Actually, the inner structures, we are not. This society is already designed for us exactly how do we live our erotical life, how do we live our sexuality. And to be radical is to question all these frames that we created. I think I finished the points that I wanted to mention. And I want to say that for me, my radical work, my radical engagement is what Gandhi said, be the change that you wish to see in the world. And I want to create spaces, and also in Palestine and also in the world, where we can model the change that we believe in. And in the last 8 years of my life, I am engaged in an initiative that it's called Peace Research Village. Peace Research Village Middle East. It's a space, it's a vision where we, a group of Israelis and Palestinians and internationals, working in Israel-Palestine, in the Middle East, to create a model that is sustainable. A model that is sustainable from all aspects of life. A model that is sustainable in the issue of water, food, energy, and human sustainability. A place where we can become Israelis and Palestinians in a space that we can encounter each other without all these identities, where men and women can encounter each other without all these barriers, all these shield of protection, of identity, of religion, of borders. And we are in this work for a few years, and now we're about to actually start in a physical, to get a land and to start this model. And we gained a lot of knowledge through the last 5 years, and to see how immediately this political situation with this war in Gaza changed all the cards. And now we again, like you work, and then the outer situation is changing everything, and I take it for ourselves that it's not time to back, but actually time to go it even more radical, more to a front, to say this is the only way. This is the only way where we can create trust between us, where we can create a space where Mother Earth can show its gifts again. So this political activism with erotical activism comes with a very concrete model of creating a space where we can model this change in the political level and also in the erotical love level. And I'm happy that I have my brother with me, and I have many friends. I have my daughter with me. And we are having good steps toward creating a space where Israel can be free, where Palestine can be free, where the whole planet Earth can be free, free from fear, free from lies, free from false identities that we put it in our shoulders, also as gender, to forbidden us or to hinder us from being the divine forces that we are. Thank you to be in such a place and to get all these applause is to create also a space inside of me to welcome it, so to welcome abundance. Is it time to open for questions?
Yes, we are ready. Questions?
I just have a question. You mentioned about the cultural constructs that existed, that have existed and been created by capitalism, patriarchy, and things like that. But for me, I'm Egyptian also, and I find it very difficult. I understand the oppression and everything, and I find it's hereditary and it goes through generations, and it's just my internal structures, the ones that you described as the ones that we can be radical about, but it's just how how to it's easier said for me, like here it's an open space, it's acceptable, but when you go back and you have to, I'm asking you how is accepted amongst your family, how it's accepted, amongst your friends. How did you start? For me, it's like, okay, here, but when I go back, it's a different face.
Yeah, thank you. How is it the gap between what we are, the vision and the reality? For me, the first faithfulness that I have is to the vision. To know that this is the inner vision that we have in our heart, and this is where I keep going. This is my attraction. This is where like the forces of life is taking me, and yet my reality is different. As I said, I cannot be like this. I cannot talk what I'm talking in front of my tribe, in front of my family, and I go back to compassion, to understand that this reality, or what we call it reality, is not the reality. It's the dream of fear that we all gave birth to it. And now being in compassion is not that I fight my father who is 74, Allah Khalli, and to tell him, you have to change, or to my brother who thinks that I'm crazy and really looking for an opportunity to kill me, not this one who's here, the other one. But to be in compassion to him and say, what Jesus said, forgive them, Father, because they don't know. They don't know, and this place of consciousness that they are not in it, I cannot judge it and blame it and demand a change from their side. I can only be the change in me. How do I address this issue in my life? All my years, and I will not say my age, all my years I did not ask for a permission. I knew that my steps and my actions would trigger things in people, but I kept my line is that I keep the balance, that I do not create resistance in the others, so I don't blame them or crush them to change, but I don't ask for permission to go my steps. So I do it with contact. I do it in a way that I stand for my truth, and this is for me like a revolution does not ask for permission. And this is the main thing. I cannot ask, can I break? But I don't need to go and say, I will break through. The way I found it as my life as Aida is the main breakthrough is finding the patterns inside of me where I discriminate, where I limit myself from living the big dream of me, in the places that I did not see my erotical being, and I did not love it. When I looked at sexuality as bad, this was embodying and accepting patriarchy, because this is what patriarchy tell you. Sexuality is wrong. You can have it only in marriage. You cannot show your erotical being. You have to be submit. And when I change it from within me, that I create inside of me an image of a woman who loves life, who loves her erotical being, who celebrates sexuality, who celebrates nature, who works for Mother Earth, for healing. This is where I break patriarchy. And I don't need to go to those who are still representing patriarchy and tell them, you are wrong. This is my way. I hope I answered you.
Maybe a pretty much a detailed question, but what do? You said like you want to be open for love, and how is that when a man really loves you and you explain to him that you are open, that possibility is there that another man may also love you, and how do you deal with that situation? I mean, like jealousy or like hurt heart from the guy. How do you react personally in your heart? How do you deal with that situation inside of you?
How do I deal with the situation that there's two men who want to love me and to be with me?
No, more like no, it's more like how do you deal with that feeling kind of from the guy.
I'm not sure that I got the answer, the question, but maybe Yep.
I think the question is, when a man falls in love with you and you tell him that you are open also to other men,
Yeah.
how do you deal with his pain, the pain that he might have?
I mean, it's a question. First of all, I respect his pain. I respect that this is where he is standing, and I will not go in convincing him, because then my point of view becomes ideology. When I start convincing somebody that he should think the same I am thinking, the most that I can do is to share with him my experience and why did I came to such decision, and leave him to forces of life and nature and the divine, that when this decision will be ripe and right for him, he will take it. Yeah. So I don't try to convince, but maybe I answer the question that I want to answer, which is, what is the reaction that I have when there's two men who want to love me, and how do I deal with it? I celebrate.
Hi. So you talked about how here you're in an open space and how it's easier for you to act like and dress how you want. How do you deal with the fear at home that you might be in danger for the way that you act? Like, I mean, does it not scare you, the idea of returning to somewhere where you might be so suppressed?
I thought like the probability that a woman like me can lose her life comparing with other women is very high. First, of being Palestinian and also of being a woman in my society. And this makes me even more radical into looking, how can I change this situation? I mean, if anyhow I might lose my life, if anyhow, no, this is the worst situation. Just to say, I love life and I want to live. I have a huge task in front of me to live for, so I'm not calling danger, not at all. But when the probability that I might lose my life because of being a Palestinian or a woman, then I become more radical to emphasize and establish and manifest the ideas and the dreams that I have inside of me. There was a moment a few years ago when my brother, who is like, I mean, he's younger than me in 15 years. He's a small patriarch, very beautiful one, but a patriarch. It's like when he became taller and taller, then he started to want to design for me my life. No? Don't dress this, don't do this, don't talk to this, talk to that. And I said to him, you know what? I'm like up till here, no? If I'm up, in anyhow, I will die once. All of us, we will die once. So even if you will go for killing, I don't care. I will do what I want to do, and you have to do it. And it was a time that he tried to kill me, and I was saved by people, by my mother. Actually, my mother is a Muslim religious person with a scarf, with a hijab, very beautiful being. And she could not deal with him physically. So what she did, she told him, if you continue, if you hurt her, I will take my clothes out and I will go to the street naked. And he did not, he didn't believe. He did not believe that she will do it. Yeah, he didn't believe. She took her dress, my mother with all this, she took her dress and was running to the street, I mean the street, like the main street where our farm is. She was running and then he was begging her, Mama, inshallah, don't do it. And then he stopped. And this is the power of women in the small and the big actions. This is a huge power that we have when we are connected with life. We have a huge power, and fear does not guide my life at all.
Hi, sorry, my English is not so well, and I only heard the last part of your speech, but I want to thank you for it, and it was very good. But my question is, you said that you are proud to be a woman, and then you, as I think the focus of that part of your speech was the sexuality of a woman, and I think it's very difficult to argue, because that's the main point that's repressed by men, or by patriarchism. And then that's the main thing you said in focus of feminism. And I asked myself if it's not the same. Then because why is that the only point that you want to express so much? If it's one point that's repressed, isn't it better if you just accept women as men and not use the same arguments like a patriarch man, for example? I hope you kind of get the question. But because I just have a problem with focusing on the female sexuality in that point, because I don't think that's what makes a human being at all. I just think it's part of it, but if you set this in focus, it's the same like patriarchism.
So I want to start by this, that I forgive you, because you came to the last part of the speech, and in the speech we addressed many points also as a political activism, why to come to this place of being proud to be a woman and celebrate sexuality. And I agree with you that patriarchy, the first thing that did, besides destroying communities, that was the embodiment, the container for safe sexuality, forbidden sexuality and oppressed women. To focus too much in women's sexuality, there is nothing called women's sexuality, there is sexuality. Yeah, there's sexuality for both. I think even if our expression is man with man or woman with women or men and women, in the end it's sexuality. It's the same sexuality that we are all coming from, and I don't focus on it, but I do see that liberating sexuality, liberating love, liberating love and sexuality from fear, from false identities, from capitalism and ideology, freeing it and allowing the forces of life to flow through us is a political issue that is up to end patriarchy. When patriarchy is suppressing women, creating us, separating between us as groups, when you turn this, it's like a slap in the face of patriarchy. And this is my point of women liberation.
Hello. I was wondering if you could tell us some more about the free space that you are currently creating, because also in relation to the other questions, I imagine that you have to work with particular bigger structures in the process of creating that space, so I was wondering how that is going.
You mean for the space of Peace Research Village?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a huge presentation to speak about it, but it is mainly peace activists from Israel and from Palestine and international, so each one of you potentially is a co-worker in this initiative. And I do invite you, because I think the main protection and change into the dimension of the Holy Land is when you, that consider the Holy Land, take your responsibility on it. And sometimes it's by also, maybe I make it as an invitation, let's make a boom festival in the Holy Land and bring all this music there, all this consciousness there. So imagine 30,000 of you are in Jerusalem or around it, or around Gaza. No invasion will happen. Yeah? If we dance and we create spaces where we encounter each other, rockets and tanks cannot go to Gaza, because we will protect this Holy Land, which belongs to all of us here. And this space is that we create a sustainable model of water, food, and energy together. So our focus is not dialogue and negotiation and identity and religion, but our focus is how can we change the reality that we are living in? How can we change the conditions into life that it's worth living? How can we change our life from being private and consumers and good vessels for the system into an alternative system that heals Mother Earth? So your identity as a Jew or as a German or as a whatever, Portuguese, does not matter for me, no? It doesn't matter. We are all beings who are also being a man or a woman, doesn't matter, but we are working to heal Mother Earth. And we do it in the Holy Land because this would, for us, there is mainly because we come from Israel, Palestine, as we feel the heartbeat of that land.
we believe that if we succeed to do something in the Holy Land, we are able to give a model in every place in the world. So this is the space that we are creating, and we are going for to create it. I want to say something that I was not asked to answer it, but I want to relate now to the last war in Gaza, and to speak a little bit about the radical action that I found inside of myself, because I found myself in this time of the war abroad, because I had to give some presentations in Germany, and my only daughter, was in Palestine. So when the war started and everything happened like this, for sure my heart was with her, because she's my only child and my great love. And she was in a safe place relatively, but still missiles and rockets were like half an hour, 40 minutes from where she's living. And when the flights start to cancel and she could not fly back, I looked into my heart and I thought, what is my step? What is my radical step now into this war? And for sure I was active with supporting friends who were in Israel and were in Palestine, and supporting movement of help, of humanitarian help to go to Gaza, and supported many things, and we signed petitions and lots of things that we done, and we created a vision camp for people who were in Israel, Palestine. But still I found that I am in so much deep fear that my child cannot leave Palestine. And I thought, like, how can I save her here in this moment? And I went inner and inner to this place of being radical into finding what is still in my heart that allows war to happen. And the thing that I found, and maybe you will not, I hope I can transmit what is it, because it's not a finished thought or a finished image inside of me, but I share it with you. I found that the system of war, the reality of war and oppression and the occupation, the system of war has a station inside of me if I allow it. The occupation, the war everywhere in the world has a station in each one of you if you allow it. And what is this station? In my case, maybe each one of you can find another station where the system can take you, where you are part of the system. I found that I was part of the system as a Palestinian woman in every place that in my heart I could not fully love a man or a woman only because he is an Israeli or a Jewish. She is an Israeli or a Jewish. These spots inside of my heart where I cannot love fully because I identify him part of a group, was exactly the place where the occupation could hook in my heart, because my heart was occupied with fear, occupied with identity, occupied with separation. And for me, I thought, like, in order to free this place, so I can also have my child back, because it's not linear, no? I put it now linear, that it's in the same place. But in order to make this step, I have to clean this place inside of me. And it was such a great joy and relief when I went into an inner process of releasing and relieving each one from my friends, Israeli friends, and I'm speaking about peace workers that I work with them, but I still had an open account against them because he did this to me and she did this to me and and when I went into this process of releasing them from all these fears, from all these judgments inside of me, I could feel that at that moment, the occupation, the war had no station in my heart. My heart was free, totally free. So I thought this was my main contribution to ending this war now in Gaza. This was my little contribution, being far away, and each one of us can find where he does not allow the system of war, the system of patriarchy, to have a station inside of him. Each one of you might find another reasons, but it is, again, as this festival is about connecting with the spirit of music, connecting with nature, connecting with the spirit of tribe, each one of us in this process of awakening will find her or his station where he wants to set free So the system of war and violence does not have a station inside of our hearts.
Hello,
Hi.
My name is Bedouin, and I first will congratulate you for your courage, opening your heart in front of us. Thank you. Actually, where the moment I felt the more touched by your speech is when you talk us about your global love, and then you actually just talked about it in the last minutes. You just talk about loving everything, whatever it is, whatever they are. And then in the second part of your speech, you define the being or radicality as be a questioning of the difference. And you just give us the answer, by telling us cleaning my heart. And to me, I understood such like cleaning is not pushing this system that I refuse more further where I not intend to be, because as well used to say at the Boom Festival, we are one. Everything is in us. So the process, and this is my question, can you talk to us a bit more about your own process to feel the global love and to love also those frames, those many layers that you described before? And actually, I share your feeling of your participation to peace when because I'm such practicing like this. Thank you.
I'm not sure that I understood the question, but if you're asking me to share my global love, is it this? Because understanding the question is already 70% of the answer.
Yeah, you talk about the process you may have followed to clean your heart when you was
in the last war, in practically
about
in
your
Gaza.
daughter, etc.
Yeah.
Then you find a way to clean your heart and feel the global love. But what is this way for you?
I don't want to repeat it, but just to say that to find where, I start from this. What is going in the outside is happening because it's happening inside of us, first of all. And this, I think, maybe most of us would agree on it, that the war, what is happening in if there's starvation in Africa, it's happening inside of us, and it's happening also because of us. If there's war in the outside, it's happening because something inside of us is allowing it. And it's happening because we are participating. We are all here participating in war systems. And this would need also maybe another talk. What does it mean? A person who is here saying, hey, sorry, I live in a peace culture or a safe culture. I am not part of war. But then we would go into a deeper conversation. How do we all end when we are part of the system as supporting directly or indirectly every war, every starvation, every problem that is happening in the universe? What is happening in the universe, in all planet Earth, is resonating in us. The fear that we have when we encounter a man, also women who are in safe societies, there is this fear. The fear when we open in sexuality, this fear is resonating because of thousands of years of suppression. It's happening because a woman in India only last year was raped in a huge group in front of everybody. It's happening because girls are born in certain tribes in Africa and in the Middle East, and their sexual genitals is cut. These fears that are happening in the outside are represented inside each one of us, also in a very intimate sexual contact. And for me to clean my heart, so I said in my specific situation of a peace activist within this initiative in Israel-Palestine, I found that the system of war and oppression has a station inside of me when I don't give all my love to you only because of your religion or your identity. I'm discriminating. And this is what Israel does to me. This is what we in Europe, you in Europe, do to foreigners, to immigrants. This is what we all do. Yeah? The racism, the fascism that is growing in Europe, this is where actually Israel is counting on. As long as there is fascism and racism in Europe and in the whole world, Israel can do what is happening in Gaza, because Israel is counting on this racism. But if we eliminate racism in our societies and how to do it, and so I think we have enough knowledge in humanity how to do it, and it's about cleaning our hearts, of seeing where do I discriminate somebody else because he belongs to another group in my neighborhood in Berlin or in Lisbon. Where do I do it? And when we clean these places, then we cannot, then Israel has no capacity, no possibility, no lobby to do what it's doing in Gaza. Then there is no wars that are happening in the world. For me, this is where, when I open my heart into a global aspects and not only deal with my personal problems and with the local conflict in Israel-Palestine, we are in times that it needs global compassion, global awakening. Like, if we would create here a beautiful place, an utopia, yeah? We would create here utopia, but this utopia will stay as a bubble. It means nothing, nothing, because there is no island of safety or happiness when the whole world is drowning. There is no island of joy and fulfillment when the whole world is suffering.
أول شيء بدي أحكي لك إنك بترفع الراس.
إيه شكرا كثير.
وأخيرا سمعنا عربي.
وأخيرا سمعنا عربي.
So I wanted to ask you about these personal acts of finding love and acceptance as being radical. How do we unite these small acts within a global network, within that bigger context, so that we can make global impact and reach critical mass and shift into a different way of life?
For sure, for this question, I don't have the full answer, but I know that each one of you has part of the answer. And this is why we are here, to find such answers. If like humble, a person like me would stand here and say, I have the answers, how can we do it? Then it's, yeah, it's not respecting our position actually. But to say that there's enough knowledge in humanity in these times that we can bring it into manifestation. And I want to say that we have, oh God, when one looks to what's happening in the world now, it feels like it is the most dark moments. And we all studied about the Holocaust, and we all studied about the Middle Ages, and burning witches and burning women, and all this is in our history. But nevertheless, what is happening now, the massive destruction of humanity, of Mother Earth, of people, has never happened like this in history. I feel like we are in the most dark moments of history. And imagine the night. There comes the moment before the sunrise. These are the moments of the most dark moments. When you encounter the night, all of the night, only from these hours of darkness, you lose hope. And you can stay with hope when you know that the sun will rise. There's a deep promise in nature, in life itself, that the sun will rise. Also tonight, tomorrow the sun will come. And deep in my heart, I totally believe that, although it feels so dark, and although my people are paying the biggest, I don't want to say the biggest price, a huge price now, I have no right to lose hope. A friend of mine told me, Aida, when we are born as Palestinian women, in our manual, the word losing hope does not exist. We cannot lose hope. Deep in my heart, I know that evolution is toward love, and evolution is toward healing. And I know, as when I gave birth and this huge pain that came inside of my body, the only thing that could keep me alive and take this pain is that I knew that after this there's a baby coming, there's life coming. And I can take these most darkest moments when I know and I believe that the sun will rise. I can take to my heart what's going now in Gaza when I know that when we unite, this will finish. This nightmare, this dream of fear will finish. And I know that inside of each one of us, we are inheriting lots of knowledge, a lot of knowledge that can take us out of this. And we need to unite in this. And I totally believe that now, in the year 2014, with all these massive possibilities of technology, of possibility to meet, possibility to fly from place to place. Now, I don't know if these cameras are broadcasting in Australia or in here and there. Now, in each moment, we have the possibility to reach millions of people in every given moment. Jesus himself did not have this possibility. Imagine, Jesus would be in these times and send his message via Facebook or via message of love and healing with all the possibilities that we have now. So we are blessed. We have this possibility that we can talk other languages, that we can communicate with each other, we can come together. We have enough knowledge in areas of ecology, spirituality, technology that can change the reality that we are living in. And there's models, there is concrete models in this world of communities who are working for sustainability and models of societies that are working for different positions of the genders. We can unite and spread this knowledge and come together. How to do it, and it's maybe the space is too small now to, and as my main work is a political networker, I would love to come together with you and share more possibilities of networking, possibilities how we can empower ourselves and unite together. Once we have a common aim, once we see, all of us, we see where are we heading, then we can do it. The تقنيات كيف نقول تقنيات I lost it in English. The mythologies, the ways to do it, the techniques, how to do it and what to do, strategies and concrete steps, we can find it. But we have to find that we are heading toward one aim. And for me, one aim is a place where it is fair for all. Fair for all. Yeah? Fair for all. Israelis, Palestinians, this is the smallest example. Men and women, nature, animals, spirits, fair for all, where all participants can dance together, can dwell together. Because we all, our deepest pain in humanity, that we still have the taste inside of us, the taste of paradise. We all once have been in paradise. Our souls, our spirit, once was dancing with this divine dance in paradise, and we still have this taste inside of us. We are longing for it. So in every place where we encounter a beautiful love-making, where we are in nature and we are united and we feel this dance, when we eat something and it's triggering something inside of us, the longing and the memories of paradise are triggered. Can we create spots on earth where we can see this paradise, where we can live it in small places and in small spots, like this spot that we want to create in Israel, Palestine, where these spots of light and alternative, concrete alternatives, I'm not speaking about science fiction, there is alternatives of sustainability in all aspects of life. There's many communities and many places that are showing this change. Can we make this change being possible also for people in Israel, Palestine, so we can stop this scarcity thinking that there's no enough water, there's no enough land, there's no enough food for everybody, so it's okay that some people die because it's my land. There's no enough love for me, so I fight you. I finally got him, he's mine. And then we build borders around the beloved that we loved. Finally, after 2,000 years of being in exile, we are finally in the state of Israel. We have homeland, and then we create wall. It's mine. Yeah, these walls does not belong to Mother Earth. Mother Earth, nature does not create walls. Does not create walls of separation. Can we not create walls of separation? Can we work with Mother Earth, with nature, in harmony? And for this, there's enough knowledge. For this, there's enough ways to communicate between each other. There's enough techniques. Yeah, it's about a decision. It's about seeing one vision. Do we agree that we all want to go for a society, for a life that it's fair for all? For all. Can we see it? Can we imagine such a picture? Then we can go together. Yeah.
Thank you, Aida. A big applause for Aida. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much.
I'm not used to this, so I should say. Maybe just while you are standing, maybe I just take 1 minute from our time, from this beautiful space that we created together. And yeah, it's just an impulse that comes now. I want to use you for one moment of looking around each other, looking the beauty, watching, observing the beauty that we are representing, and wishing or imagining a picture inside of us that this space that we are enjoying now is the minimum that every human being deserves, and that the safe place that we are in should be the minimum or the basic conditions, prerequisites for all humanity. And in this moment, or like our body, when there's a wound, then all blood cells, white and red, goes to the wound to heal it. Maybe we take a second in our heart, prayer and imagination and go to Gaza. Go to Gaza with our intentions, with prayers, with energy of healing. Go to Gaza, not to see Israel in the same time. That the same love and healing and power that we are sending there, energy of healing, energy of love, energy of true reconciliation, go to my people and to Israel, to the Holy Land that belongs to all of us, and imagine that this land should be made to be a taste of paradise. Amen. Thank you for this time.